Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the All the Way Up Radio Show. I'm your host, Lydia, your favorite accountant. And as always, I'm excited to be here with you on this Wednesday morning. Happy Mother's Day, belated Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I hope your day was amazing. Mothers do so much for our children and our kids. I just want to give a shout out to all the mothers, and I hope you had a great Mother's Day. I think I read one time if you had to put a salary on the cost of what mothers do for children and their families, they would make over $100,000. So mothers do so much, and I just wanted to say Happy Mother's Day to each and every mother out there for what you continue to do for our future. Again, today, I'm so excited that I have a guest on the show today. He's amazing in what he does, and I can't wait to get into conversation with him and share him with my audience. Today, we're going to be talking about accountants and lawyers and how important that is to your team in the entertainment industry. Today, I have an entertainment attorney with me, Waldon, and he is out of New York. He has expertise in well-respected attorney dealing with business top culture. His law practices focuses on modern entertainment, sports, branding, fashion, new media spaces. He's dealt in the fashion industry with icons such as Macy's and Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Levi, The Gap, Monster Energy, Pluma, Reebok, Red Bull, and the list just continues to go on and on and on. In addition to brand dealings that he's done, he's also represented many of well-known entertainers and athletes such as Sean Diddy Combs, Jennifer Lopez, Bad Boy, Worldwide Entertainment, Blue Flame Marketing, and continues to go on and all the things that he's done. And he just has a remarkable resume here, and I'm just excited to be able to talk with him today and to be able to share his expertise in the industry of music, in the music industry. His career, he's out of New York City. He has his bar and his license out of New York City. And we're going to bring him on right now. He lives in New Jersey, back east, my hometown from New York. I just love to give him a shout out and have my East Coast people represented here on the West Coast. So I was excited to have him on the line. So good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Great. I'm so happy to have you on our show today to be able to talk about the industry. It's so many questions that I have for you. But before we get started, I want to know a little bit about why you decided to become an entertainment attorney. There's so many different legal industries to get involved in, and you've been doing this for 3 decades. So what made you decide to get into the entertainment industry?
Sure. When I was young, I was actually a DJ, and I always had an affinity for music and the personalities that are involved with music. So that led me to become interested in getting involved with record labels, etc. While I was in law school. I actually did an internship with a company called TBT Records, which at the time had Black Recordings as well as a couple other labels underneath it, where Ja Rule and other artists got their start. So it was an opportunity for me to kind of see things from the ground up while I was in law school. And it really piqued my interest. I tried to venture further and further into the music industry at that point.
That is wonderful. And good. Shout out to DJs. I love DJs, and just a shout out to that industry as well, and being a DJ and then changing that into the entertainment industry as far as an attorney is concerned. So your practice is in New York, and what are some of and I have on here some of the items in which your company represents? I know you represent intellectual properties, contracts. What are some of the other areas that your company represents?
We handle trademarks for our clients. For certain clients, we actually do wills and trusts. But primarily, we handle contracts and negotiations on behalf of all our clients, whether that be musicians, whether that be personalities, people who do endorsement deals, people who are engaging as a spokesperson, etc. We handle most of their business that pertains to entertainment.
So there's so many ways that artists can make money in the industry now, by touring, selling merchandise, licensing deals, television, movies, games, partnerships, streaming. In your industry, what role does the attorney play in these different areas?
Sure. One, we're essentially a gatekeeper on behalf of our clients. We, one, introduce them to different distributors of different types of, like, i.e., record labels, music publishing companies that do NFTs, merchandising companies, and then also clients that have personnel that lend itself to that, companies that do marketing and or merchandising, the major brands of the world as well as other entities. So we actually shop our clients as well as kind of help them parrot these situations and look at each situation for what it potentially offers to them and help them make the right decisions in terms of striking a deal.
That's exactly what a lot of clients need, and it's so important for them to have the right attorney on their team. Precise Business Management, that sponsors this show. I've had some clients that are in the entertainment industry, and I've had a client that was negotiating a deal with Lionsgate and discovered that his attorney was a litigation attorney, wasn't even an entertainment attorney. So how do you know that you have the right attorney as an artist?
One, you want to make sure they have a facility and or experience in the particular area that you're looking to break into. If you're someone who wants to have a career as a producer or as an artist in the music industry, you want to make sure that your client, your attorney, has actually done numerous deals in that area, that they have relationships at these particular companies to help you kind of deal with whatever pitfalls may come up. You don't want to have a situation where whether it's a litigation person, someone who handles real estate, and they really don't know the ins and outs of these agreements. One, two, you want to make sure they have relationships because this is very much a relationship-driven business. So, one, being able to understand the concepts that are involved in these agreements, but also to be able to reach out and touch people who can affect your client in a positive way when there may be an issue with a particular deal. So those are the important kind of aspects of having an attorney that knows this industry.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that particular attorney was debating over something in the contract that wasn't even necessary for my client. So it's so important to have a team, to have an accountant, to have a lawyer, to have a team, and they talk to each other and for the best interest of the client. I always get questions with regards to when is a good time to obtain an attorney, and why would you need an entertainment attorney?
Sure. When you're actually starting to have opportunities, one, to leverage your talent, i.e., for certain people, it may mean that you're getting placements if you're a songwriter or a producer. If you're an artist and you start getting interest from whether it's a management company or a record label, you want to have someone in place who can actually help you kind of walk through those situations at that particular time. If the very beginning stages, you may not necessarily need an attorney to become involved, but you just want to have a good sense of what's involved with these situations either way. So you're going to make sure that you're not getting yourself involved in a negotiation and or a contract without having someone at least covering your back, so to speak. So if and when the artist and or songwriter, et cetera, starts to have opportunities to leverage their talent, that's when it's the right time for them to obtain counsel.
Absolutely. I've been in the entertainment industry for a very long time and worked with a lot of different artists, 50 Cent, Onyx, and I worked at Def Jam and so many different platforms when it came to the entertainment industry, and working with artists and being able to issue them funds, because I did the financial aspect of it, and being able to issue them funds, $50,000, and before the end of the week, they're broke. They don't necessarily have any money or anything to show for that. When you sign clients to these deals and they don't have anyone to help them in the management side of it, do you give counsel or advice to artists in that area?
Yes, I do. I always advise people to start the team with a solid accountant. whether or not they're the deal at that particular moment. A solid accountant, someone who, one, understands the industry, but two, it has a sound background in accounting, help to make the right decisions in terms of tax liability, what kind of money they should put away, savings, etc. Because the last thing you want to have is a client who burns through money and then becomes a very unhappy client. So it's better for them. One, go ahead.
No, absolutely. You're absolutely right. What I'm saying, you don't want them to be to be able to be in a position where they're good after they, successfully had a career and now they're broke. You don't want that. So you want to make sure you have the right people in place. If someone can advise you, similar to the trust fund that he did with Reebok, pretty much kind of saved his financial future from himself. So being able to have those people in place to help you is so critical. It really is. And sometimes the first person that you speak to may be your attorney that can help you set up that team, because he knows how much that you're going to make from your deal and what that looks like. So with regards to artists and new artists, does your firm broker deals? If you notice great talent, do you broker deals for them to help them to get recording deals or artist deals?
Yes, we do actually shop situations, whether it be for an artist, a record company, someone's an Instagram personality trying to hook up with a particular marketing company. We definitely shop those situations and broker those situations. It really depends on what's involved, meaning what kind of talent the person has, what they're looking to do, kind of short-term and long-term, and then also what our vision is based on what they do and what they could do in the industry.
So New York being one of the capitals of the entertainment industry, what are some of your successes for your firm that you can share with us?
Sure. One, most of my clients have actually represented for quite some time. So I've actually had clients that I've kind of begun with and kind of carried them through a great deal of success in their industry. For example, I represent Waldon, who's a multi-Grammy winning, multi-platinum producer. I've represented close to 24 years now. He's had a great deal of success, but I started with him when he was just having individual placements on particular artists and had not kind of grown as a producer and a songwriter or as an entrepreneur at that point, to the point where he actually had some success and helped him leverage that success into doing lots of things where he had opportunities for label deals, etc. So one success is that working with clients long term and helping them make the right decisions over time. Beyond that, I've had opportunities to negotiate and renegotiate television deals with clients like Evelyn Waldon, who actually had some success with Basketball Wives as well as another show on the Oprah Network. So leveraging the success that she's had to other opportunities. For example, she's also had opportunities to do marketing deals. She has her own jewelry line. She also has her own clothing line. So starting from just being a personality and then leveraging those opportunities into other streams of income for her. Those are the types of successes that I've had over time. But beyond that, I would say helping train some top flight attorneys who are actually doing well in their own right at this point in their own practice. Around them for a while and actually seen a lot of things and have actually been able to impart that knowledge to other people who are actually doing very well as well.
That is great. That is great success stories. And it's so important to be able to have an attorney that has the history and that has the success with their firm. Again, you're listening to Lydia Hyde. This is the All the Way Up radio show. And today we have a guest that's an attorney out of New York that's worked with so many different artists, John Waldon, and he's sharing with us what it takes to be successful as far as an artist and why it's important to have an attorney to kind of look over your contracts. Every week we sponsor, we spotlight a business, and today we're spotlighting a business, and it's a restaurant that I love. It's great. It's called Cajun Mouth Restaurant, and that's our spotlight business today. Cajun Mouth Restaurant is located at 3441 West Sahara Avenue, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89102. Each week I spotlight a business or a restaurant. I love the food there. It is great. If you're a business or a business owner and you wanted to be spotlighted on the All the Way Up show, give us a call or contact us at 702-480-7619, 702-480-7619, or on our social media at preciselv.com, and we'll spotlight your business. Absolutely no cost to you. We just want to make sure businesses are known in the community, and when they first open up, Cajun Mouse Restaurant just recently opened up. It's only been open for 1 month, so if you enjoy Cajun food, go check them out. Again, this is Lydia, hi, your favorite accountant, and you're listening to the All the Way Up radio show. Today's show is sponsored by Precise Business Management that handles all your accounting needs and your business needs. So if you're a business owner or an entertainer or independent contractor that's looking for an accounting firm to help you in partnership with you, give us a call at 702-480-7619. 702-480-7619, 702-480-7619. And today, I'm just so excited to be talking with an attorney. He's out of New York. He's worked in the entertainment industry for over 3 decades. And we're just asking questions that artists want to know to be able to help them. So I know when you first started in the industry, there's been so many changes. With regards to 360 deals, are they still in existence? Should artists still be signing 360 deals, like exclusive recording contracts that entitles the record label a percentage of all their earnings as far as the artist, or should they be signing artist deals with so much that's changed in the industry? What are your thoughts?
My suggestion is, depending on the leverage of the artist at that particular time, is to try and limit it to records, if you can. The question becomes, depending on the success of a particular artist, record companies are looking to leverage their position in terms of the advances they're going to pay out to try and look for other pieces of income. But if an artist has any success, initially on their own, they can try to leverage the situation and have opportunities at multiple different labels. So if they can control that aspect, it gives them an opportunity just to limit the rights that are granted to the particular company. At the end of the day, if Rox has to grant 360 type rights under a deal, it's going to limit their opportunities to garner income. Also, it limits their control in the situation. So what you try to do on their behalf as an attorney is create leverage for them, even if it doesn't seem that they have leverage at that particular time, to try and limit what they have to give up in the situation. At the end of the day, it's always a negotiation. So some artists will have more leverage than others at that particular time until they actually have some success. And then once they have success, you try to renegotiate and pay back the rights that have been granted. So it becomes a situation where it's a fair situation for the artist, even if initially it was not.
Absolutely. Now they have contracts that are smart contracts. Are you familiar with smart contracts? What do you think about that?
Well, there are multiple different types of rights that have different grants in how they're drafted. Some opportunities are created by artificial intelligence in terms of how people draft these agreements. But at the end of the day, you want to know what the particular rights you're granting to a company are, how it impacts the short-term and long-term opportunities for the particular artist. So you look at these situations for what they grant, what they call for, and then you count your client on that basis.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if you had an artist out there, and these are some of the questions that I'm getting from a lot of my listeners and individuals that want to know and not sure of. So before, do you have any suggestions what you would need to know before signing a deal, like things you would consider to know before signing a deal if they don't have professional advice, opposed to seeking professional advice? That's what I always tell my clients: seek professional advice.
Well, I would say seek out at least a competent attorney who has experience in the industry. If not, at the very least, a manager if you don't have an attorney in place. One. But two, you want to make sure that whatever deal you're striking, that it's something that can be gotten into finished and gotten out of in a short period of time. Meaning, you don't want to do these, kind of arduous, kind of almost quote unquote slave type contracts where you're doing 6 to 7 albums or 8 albums. Because if you look at an album cycle, an album may take 6 months to a year to record. Then they drop a single for that single album. Then you drop a second or third single before the album they drop. And then it takes probably another year for that album to live its life. If you're looking at 6 or 7 albums, that can turn into 12 to 15 years over time. As an artist, you want to make sure that whatever company you're striking a deal with, that the term is short enough that you can get in, do what you need to do in terms of providing the content that's required in that particular agreement, and then get out of the deal. So you have an opportunity to renegotiate with that particular company or move on to another company if you have some success. The last thing you want to have, even if they pay you a huge sum of money up front, is have too long a contract. You want to make sure that it's appropriate for you, kind of where you are at that particular time as an artist, but also that you can get in and get out without too much hardship and have some success and then leverage that success.
That's great advice. That is great advice. And what are some of the issues you should be aware of before signing a contract? So what are some of the things that would be a red flag for individuals and being able to sign a contract that they should be aware of?
Sure. Money is not always the most important factor in a deal. You're going to make sure that you have, if you're a recording artist, you're going to make sure that you have a very competitive royalty, that you have a certain amount of control. If you've had success, whether that be via Instagram or other platforms, to get yourself out there, that you have a certain amount of control over what you do. You make sure you have a competitive royalty. You make sure you have enough money to record the album that you want to try and record. At the end of the day, the goal is to walk away with as much money to put in your pocket as an artist as you can. Whether that means not necessarily spending all of the recording funds that you get, excuse me, or just making sure that you're very efficient in how you approach the recording process. So in striking your deal, you want to make sure that you limit the rights, try to keep it as close to just recording as possible, i.e. no 360 terms, or if it's going to be recording in or publishing, that they're actually paying you appropriate advances for all of those rights that you're granting. Other than that, I would say, once again, we're trying to limit the term and make sure that you can get in and get out of the deal.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, you're listening to Lydia High, your favorite accountant, all the way at radio show, and we're talking to Ian Waldon, and he's a lawyer out of New York and works with so many different artists. As we know, the music industry is a $23.1 billion industry, and streaming is made up of 56% of that, of the figures. So the music industry is definitely huge with regards to the amount of revenue that comes into the music industry. So what advice would you give artists that want to break into the industry? What advice would you give new artists?
Well, I would suggest that they handle their business correctly. Make sure that they copyright whatever work that they're creating. That they make sure that if they're working with a particular producer, that they have a deal in place or an agreement in place in writing that describes exactly what is required from each side, what each party is going to get out of the situation. That they walk into every situation with their eyes wide open, meaning that they're not just blind about the fact that, I have an opportunity to have some success, I have an opportunity to get on radio, I have an opportunity to shoot videos, etc. At the end of the day, this is the music business. It's the entertainment business. If you're not paying attention to your bottom line, you're going to have a lot of problems over time, even if you have some success. And the best advice would be to make sure that you strike a deal, meaning that you get counsel, get a solid manager, get a solid business manager, to make sure that you're getting the correct advice in terms of striking these deals, and then also making sure that whatever issues that might come up, that they're addressed correctly so you don't have further problems moving forward.
Absolutely, absolutely. And if any of my listeners, because Las Vegas is definitely the capital of entertainment, I have several artists that are entertainment industry, film, and music, and I strongly recommend you as well. But if someone that's listening today wanted to reach out to you, how would they contact you?
One, they can call my office, 212-946-4737, or they can shoot me an email. Simplest one is at Waldon Law, W-A-L, D as in David, O as in Oscar, N as in New, L-A-W, @gmail.com. And what I do is connect with potential artists and potential clients, have an opportunity to speak with them, get a sense of where they are and what they're trying to do, and see if we can be of assistance to them.
Absolutely. I always suggest to any of my clients, you want to make sure you seek professional advice in the industry that you're going, and it's so important to have a good team. I've interviewed so many people like Roxanne Shante, that's been in the industry for so many years, that's talked about attorneys that when she was younger that she didn't get her royalties or she didn't make any money. So you want to make sure you have the right team and that your team is talking to each other, your accountant, your attorney, that they're on your team to be able to fight for you. So that's a question of some of the things you deal with as an attorney, legal issues surrounding the music industry, because we always know the music industry is great and it's glitz, but it's definitely cutthroat. Before I answer that question, I always give a quote every week, so I'm going to give this quote that I do every week. The music industry is really funny. When you have a hit record, everyone knows who you are and wants to do duets with you. But if you miss, people suffer from amnesia, and that's from the recording artist deal. So we know the music industry is cutthroat. You are successful when you're successful, and when you're not, no one knows your name. So you want to make sure, with regards to your legal issues as well, that you have an attorney that's fighting for you, that's on your team. So what are some of the legal issues surrounding the music industry?
Sure. One, copyright law, how it impacts on a particular artist's use of content, making sure that there are contracts in place in terms of if they're hiring or if they're required to hire a particular producer and or musicians to be involved with their project, making sure that their name is actually protected, meaning filing for trademark, etc., protection in terms of their actual artist name if they're not using their personal name. Protecting any content that they create, whether that be visual content or musical content, to make sure that someone else is not going to try and leverage what they do and they not receive the compensation for it. Beyond that, there are issues that come up in terms of touring, whether or not you have a situation like Travis Scott, where there are issues in terms of your tour or issues in terms of your concert where someone might be injured, making sure you have the proper insurance involved in those types of situations, making sure that at each stage that you have the right contract in place. So to the extent.
And that is so essential because, again, in the music industry, there's pros and there's cons. So, again, you listen to Lydia High, your favorite accountant, each and every Wednesday from 10:30 to 11, being able to share with you industry professionals, business owners, and to talk about your taxes and help building your wealth. Again, thank you, Ian, so much for being on the show today. We're so happy to have you and hope to have you again soon. We wish you all the best. And until next time, thank you so much for listening to the All the Way Up radio show. Again, I'm Lydia High. Until next Wednesday, be safe. God bless.